The silence breaks. For 40,000 years, humanity was silent. The galaxy forgot their name. Empires grew, fought, and collapsed without hearing a single human voice. To most alien species, humans were nothing more than an old legend, a strange race that once burned bright and then vanished into the dark. But legends are dangerous. Legends can return. The story begins on the quiet edge of the Orion Arm. Out there, a listening post of the Vayari Empire scanned the void as it had for centuries. Its machines listened to the static of the stars, the whispers of dying suns, and the faint chatter of alien civilizations. For thousands of years, nothing unusual was ever found. Until one night. A sudden pulse of energy cut through the void. It was not random, not natural. It was sharp, powerful, and carried meaning. Every sensor in the outpost screamed in alarm. The signal repeated again and again, traveling faster and louder than any normal broadcast. The Vayari commander stared at the screen. His scales turned pale. "It is not ours," he whispered. "It is human." The word spread like fire. Human. A word that had not been spoken in tens of thousands of years. Ancient records told of humans, small in number, yet impossible to defeat. They were said to be clever, stubborn, and terrifying in war. And then one day they had vanished. No one knew where they went, or why. Some thought they destroyed themselves. Others believed they had left the galaxy forever. Now, with one signal, all those theories were shattered. Humanity was back. The message was short. Only 3 words carried across the stars, but those words were enough to make rulers tremble. "We are here." The entire Vayari Empire panicked. Councils were called in the middle of the night. Armies were placed on alert. Fleets were ordered to move. But the Vayari were not alone. Within hours, the signal reached the great heart worlds of the Zevar Dominion, the Kraith Hives, and the unified clans. Everywhere the message was received. Everywhere it brought fear. On the trade stations, merchants whispered nervously. On warships, soldiers asked questions their commanders could not answer. Even the secretive archivists, who claimed to know the hidden past of the galaxy, fell into silence. Everyone knew the truth. If humans were truly alive, the galaxy would never be the same. And deep inside old libraries, forgotten records were pulled from dust. They told stories of battles fought long ago, when humans faced enemies 1,000 times stronger but still found victory. They told of human fleets that moved like ghosts, human soldiers who fought until their last breath, and human leaders who never surrendered. The more the stories spread, the more fear grew. But fear was mixed with curiosity. Why now? Why, after 40,000 years of silence, had humanity spoken? And what did they want? The Vayari commander, still staring at the blinking signal, asked the same question aloud. What if this is only the beginning? What if more is coming? Across the galaxy, others asked the same. In the grand chambers of the Zevar Dominion, their empress gripped her throne so tightly her claws cracked the metal. "If humans have returned," she said coldly, "we must know their strength. We must know if they come as allies or conquerors." The Kraith Hives buzzed with unease. Their queens remembered ancient defeats at human hands. "Do not forget," one queen hissed, "we once bled because of them." And in hidden corners, spies were sent, secret fleets prepared, and whispers grew louder. Everyone wanted to know, where were the humans hiding? What power had they gained in their silence? But no one knew the answer. The message continued to play across the galaxy, always the same, always repeating. "We are here." It was not a threat, not a plea, not a promise, but its meaning was heavier than any warship. For the first time, in thousands of years, every empire turned its eyes toward the dark, toward the silent blue world called Earth. But Earth was quiet. No ships, no signals, no fleets, only the message. And in that silence, fear grew. Because silence can mean weakness, or it can mean strength waiting to be revealed. The galaxy held its breath. The return of humanity was no longer a rumor. It was real. And deep inside every ruler's mind, one thought burned like fire. What happens when the humans finally speak again? Because if 3 words could shake the galaxy, then what would come next might tear it apart. And so the silence broke. The storm had begun. Fear across the stars, the message had traveled. It moved like lightning across the galaxy, from star to star, from empire to empire. We are here. Only 3 words, yet they shook the foundations of every throne. In the Zivar dominion, their empress called her council together. She was a ruler feared by millions, a conqueror of worlds, yet her voice trembled as she spoke. "The humans return," she whispered. 40,000 years they slept. Why do they wake now? Around her, the lords of the Dominion argued. Some shouted that the message was fake. Others demanded that fleets be sent to find Earth and destroy it before humans grew strong again. But in the back of their minds, all of them remembered the same thing: the old stories, the ancient wars, and the terrible cost of facing humanity. Far away in the Kraith hives, the insectoid queens gathered. They spoke through vibrations, their bodies glowing faintly in the dark chambers. "We must prepare," one queen hissed. "The last time humans walked the stars, our armies burned." Another queen shook her wings. "We thought them gone, forever. Now the silence is broken. If they rise again, nothing will stop them." Even the cold and logical Tear Collective could not ignore the fear. Machines ruled their empire, calculating every future with perfect precision. Their great minds ran billions of simulations. In almost every one, the return of humanity ended with the same result: collapse of galactic order. Their answer was clear. If humans lived, then war was coming. Across countless stations and colonies, ordinary beings whispered in fear. In markets, merchants asked if the humans would come as friends or enemies. On warships, soldiers polished their weapons, knowing they might soon face the most dangerous species the galaxy had ever seen. Children asked questions their parents could not answer. Everywhere, unease grew heavier. But fear was not alone. Alongside it came curiosity. Who were these humans now? What did they look like after so many thousands of years? Were they stronger than before? Had they discovered new powers in their silence? The questions spread like fire, and no empire could ignore them. In the hidden halls of the archivists, the oldest keepers of history, ancient texts were pulled from their vaults. They spoke of humans who fought with fury unmatched, who refused to kneel even when entire fleets pressed against them. The archivists debated long into the night. The silence was not weakness, one of them said. It was patience, and patience can be the most dangerous weapon. The galaxy was vast, filled with empires that had lasted for millennia, but none of them could escape the shadow of humanity's return. In secret, rulers began to make choices. The Zivar Empress sent spies to search the outer systems, looking for the source of the signal. The Kraith queens ordered their hives to build more warships. The Tear Collective strengthened their machine fleets, preparing for a war that their logic said was inevitable. And yet, no one dared to attack first, because everyone remembered what happened the last time. Entire armadas had been lost. Whole species had disappeared, and still humanity had endured. So they waited, watched, listened, and in that waiting, the fear only grew stronger. For ordinary citizens, the fear became daily life. In the marketplaces, rumors twisted into wild stories. Some claimed humans had grown into giants taller than any alien. Others said humans had turned into machines, merging flesh with metal to become immortal. A few even whispered that humans had learned to control stars themselves, to make suns die and worlds freeze. None of these stories were proven. But the fact that anyone could believe them showed how deep the fear had sunk. The galaxy itself seemed to grow quieter. Fleets moved cautiously. Traders avoided the edge of human space. Explorers who once boasted of brave journeys now turned back before entering the dark zones near Sol. Humanity had not yet been seen, and still, they had already changed the galaxy. In the capital of the Dominion, the Empress stood alone on her balcony, staring at the stars. She thought of her empire, of her people, of her power. And yet, one thought would not leave her mind. If 3 words can shake us this much, what will happen when humans say more? In the Kraith hives, a queen whispered to her children as they hatched, "Remember the name, human. It may be the last name you ever hear." And in the Terre Collective, machines calculated again and again. But no matter how many futures they mapped, one fact remained unshakable. If humanity truly returned, the galaxy would either bow or burn. The fear spread like a disease, carried in every rumor, in every whisper, in every shadow. And still, the message pulsed through the void, steady and calm. We are here. The galaxy knew then that silence was gone. And silence, once broken, can never be restored. The hidden strength of Earth, while the galaxy drowned in fear, Earth remained silent. No more signals came, no fleets appeared. To the watching empires, it almost seemed as if humanity had spoken 3 words, and then vanished again. But beneath the surface of Earth, the truth was different. Far below the oceans, inside mountains, and under ancient deserts, vast cities stretched like hidden veins. For 40,000 years, humanity had not been gone. They had been waiting. They lived in silence, away from alien eyes, away from the noise of the galaxy. While others fought endless wars, humanity studied, prepared, and built. The Earth of today was not the Earth of legend. It was something far greater. Inside a chamber deep beneath the ruins of what was once New York, a council gathered. They were not kings or emperors, but leaders chosen for wisdom and vision. Before them floated a projection of the galaxy. Dots of light showed alien empires glowing strong in their arrogance. One dot, small but burning brighter than all others, marked Earth. "The signal has been sent," one leader said, her voice calm. "Now the galaxy knows we are alive." "Alive is not enough," another replied. "They must know what we have become." Around the chamber, silence followed. Each of them remembered the long years of patience, the wars they had avoided, the technology they had mastered, the knowledge they had stolen by listening. For ages, human ships had remained hidden, silent watchers on the edges of alien space. They learned every code, every language, every weakness. Not once had they been seen. Not once had they been caught. Humanity had listened while the galaxy believed them dead. In a hidden hangar beneath the Sahara Desert, enormous warships rested in silence. They were unlike anything the galaxy had ever built. Their surfaces shimmered with living metal, able to heal from wounds. Their engines could bend space like cloth, slipping between stars faster than light itself. Their weapons were silent, invisible and unstoppable. One blast could erase a fleet without leaving wreckage behind. And yet these ships did not fly. Not yet. For humanity had a plan. Patience had been their weapon for 40,000 years, and it would remain so. They would not reveal everything at once. They would not strike unless forced. Instead, they would let the galaxy wonder, let fear grow deeper, let enemies fight each other with paranoia. Humanity knew that terror was often stronger than bullets, but they were ready. On the surface, life seemed ordinary. Children laughed, farmers worked, cities glowed with light. But even here, strength was hidden. Every citizen was trained in survival. Every school taught history not only of Earth, but of the galaxy beyond. Every worker carried the knowledge that if war came, they too would stand as soldiers. Humanity had learned long ago, survival is not the job of the few, it is the duty of all. In orbit, disguised satellites watched alien fleets as they moved nervously. Each signal, each movement, each weapon test was recorded. Humanity saw everything, knew everything, and still, they remained unseen. In a hidden station beyond Pluto, an old man stood at a window, looking out at the stars. His uniform was simple, his face marked by years of waiting. He was one of the oldest commanders alive, born before the last great silence began. He smiled faintly as he whispered, "They are afraid. Good. Let them be afraid. It is the price of forgetting us." Thite. Galaxy thought of Earth as a world of myths, a graveyard of a lost race. But beneath the myths was power, power greater than any empire had imagined. And in the deepest vaults, where only a handful of humans were allowed to enter, rested their final secret. Ancient machines, older than memory, guarded by silence. No alien had ever seen them. No human outside the Council knew their purpose. But the Council did. They were humanity's last gift from the past. When the time came, when the galaxy forced their hand, those machines would awaken. And when they did, the galaxy would understand the truth. Silence had not been weakness. Silence had been preparation. On the surface of Earth, as night fell across continents, a second message was prepared. Short, simple, and direct. Just like the first. The leaders knew it was not yet time to send it. But when it was, those words would be heavier than the first signal. Because they would not only say, "We are here," they would say something more. Something that would break the last illusions of safety the galaxy clung to. For now, Earth waited, hidden and watching. The galaxy trembled in fear, but the humans were calm. They had learned the value of patience. They had learned the value of silence, and silence was their greatest weapon. The first response: for weeks the galaxy lived in silence after the first human signal. 3 words repeated across the stars. "We are here." Empires held meetings, spies searched, fleets prepared, but no new message came. Fear turned into a heavy shadow, pressing on every world. At last, the silence broke again. It happened on the edge of Xavar Dominion space. A vast fleet of warships guarded the border, their weapons locked, their commanders nervous. For days they had waited, sensors wide, hunting for the humans who dared to return. Nothing came. Then, without warning, space itself seemed to ripple. Ship appeared. It was not large, not massive like the Dominion dreadnoughts. To alien eyes it looked almost small, but its presence was wrong. Its shape bent the light around it. Its hull seemed alive, shifting as if breathing. And worse, the Dominion sensors could not measure it. No weight, no heat, no signature. To the machines, it was as if the ship did not exist. The commander of the Dominion fleet barked orders. Dozens of warships moved forward, forming a wall of steel and fire. "Identify yourself," the commander shouted into the void. "You trespass into Dominion space." For a moment, silence. Then a voice replied. Calm, cold, human. "You heard our message. We are here." The words carried across every channel, across every ship. Soldiers froze. Officers gritted their teeth. Even the commander felt his stomach twist. The voice was not loud, but it carried weight, like the sound of thunder before a storm. "We do not seek war," the human voice continued, "but we will not hide anymore," the Dominion commander sneered. "Empty words. You are one ship against hundreds. Leave now, or we will erase you." But the human ship did not move. Instead, its surface shimmered. For a heartbeat, it looked like the stars bent around it, and then a pulse of energy swept across the fleet. Not an explosion, not a weapon, just a silent wave of light. Every Dominion ship went dark. Engines failed. Weapons powered down. Shields collapsed. In seconds, the mighty fleet, one of the strongest in the galaxy, was nothing more than drifting metal. Not a single shot had been fired. On the command bridge, officers shouted in panic. Lights flickered. Screens went black. The commander screamed for control, but nothing worked. Every system was dead. Only the human ship remained untouched, glowing faintly in the void. "You speak of erasing us," the human voice said again, calm as before. "But you have forgotten. We are humanity. We erase nothing. We endure, and those who threaten us, learn why silence lasted so long. The words echoed in every powerless ship, drilling into the hearts of soldiers who now sat helpless in the dark. Some trembled, some prayed. None dared to answer. And then, as quietly as it had arrived, the human ship turned. Space rippled again, and it was gone. The Dominion fleet floated, crippled and humiliated. Hours later, engineers managed to restore partial power, but the message was already clear. Humanity did not bluff. Humanity did not boast. With one ship, they had disabled an armada without firing a weapon. News spread like wildfire. The galaxy shook harder than before. In taverns and marketplaces, the story grew with each telling. Some said the humans had destroyed the fleet completely. Others said the humans had taken control of every ship and left them floating like toys. Whatever the details, one fact was certain. Humanity had returned with power beyond comprehension. In the Kraith hives, queens hissed in fear. One ship silenced hundreds. Imagine what a fleet can do. In the Tear Collective, machines calculated again. The numbers told the same story. Humanity's technology was beyond all prediction. No empire could face them alone. And in the Dominion capital, the Empress slammed her claws into the throne. Her fleets had been shamed, her soldiers humbled. The name human spread through her empire like poison. Rage filled her, but beneath it fear whispered. If this is only their first response, she thought, what is their next? On Earth, in the hidden council chambers, the leaders watched the result of their test. The small ship returned to its dock, untouched. The galaxy has seen, one leader said. They will whisper, they will fear, they will doubt themselves. Another nodded slowly. Good, let them. Fear is a weapon, and we have waited too long to return without it. Outside, in the night sky above Earth, stars burned quietly. The galaxy thought humanity weak, forgotten, extinct. But now, they had seen the truth. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was patient. Humanity was ready. And patience was ending. The terror of humanity's return, the galaxy could no longer deny the truth. Humanity was back. Not a rumor, not a legend, not a ghost. One small ship had silenced a fleet of hundreds without a single weapon fired. And if that was only one ship, then what else did Earth hide? Fear spread like a storm. In the Zivar Dominion, entire worlds rioted. Citizens whispered that the humans would arrive any day, burning everything in their path. Soldiers refused to patrol the borders, terrified that another human ship might appear. The Empress tried to calm her empire, but her own hands shook when she remembered the voice that had crippled her fleet with nothing but calm words. In the Kraith hives, the queens began to devour their own children, a desperate ritual from the old days of fear. Better to starve now, one queen hissed, than to be hunted later by humans. Their buzzing filled the dark tunnels, a sound of panic that spread through every hive. In the Tear Collective, machines calculated endless futures. Every path ended in the same conclusion. Resistance would fail. The only logical choice was surrender. Yet their pride stopped them from saying it aloud. Cold silence filled their servers as they argued in endless cycles. Every empire, every ruler, every soldier now faced a question no one wanted to answer. What does humanity want? The second human signal gave the answer. Across the galaxy, receivers trembled as the new message arrived. This time it was longer. The words were slow, steady, each one cutting like a blade. We have watched. We have learned. We have prepared. We return not as prey. We return not as beggars. We return as masters of our silence. The age of fear belongs to you now. Kneel, or be forgotten. The words hit harder than weapons. Entire councils froze. Some rulers shouted for defiance, but their voices cracked with fear. Others whispered surrender, but their pride held them back. The galaxy had never been so divided, and yet all of them knew one truth. The humans had already won. Without firing a shot, they had broken the courage of civilizations that had lasted thousands of years. The terror grew deeper when the first human fleets finally revealed themselves. From the darkness beyond Pluto, ships emerged. Dozens at first, then hundreds, then thousands. They glided into the void without sound, their hulls alive with shifting metal, their engines bending space around them. No one had ever seen ships like these. They looked less like machines and more like predators moving through the deep. The galaxy watched as these fleets spread into the stars. They did not attack. They did not speak again. They only moved, calmly, deliberately, unstoppable. Wherever they passed, alien fleets retreated. Entire empires pulled back from borders, afraid to make a mistake that might awaken humanity's full wrath. For the ordinary beings of the galaxy, the terror was unbearable. Merchants abandoned their trade routes. Colonies stopped sending ships beyond their own skies. Children cried at night, asking if the humans would come for them. Parents had no answers, and yet Earth itself remained quiet. No demands for resources, no call for war. Only the signal and the fleets moving like shadows across the void. Humanity did not need to conquer. Fear was doing the work for them. In the Dominion Palace, the Empress stood before her court. Her voice was thin, broken, nothing like the iron ruler she had once been. "They will not ask," she whispered. "They will not bargain. They will not need to. We are already theirs." In the Kraith hives, the queens fell silent, their hissing replaced by stillness. For the first time in their history, the queens stopped giving orders. Even they understood that their rule no longer mattered. In the Terror Collective, the machines finally ended their endless arguments. A single line of code spread through their servers. Submit. And so the galaxy trembled not from war, but from the weight of humanity's presence. On Earth, the Council watched in silence. Their plan had worked. Fear had spread wider than any fleet could travel. Without a single invasion, without a single conquest, the galaxy was already bending. A leader stood, her eyes cold. 40,000 years of silence is over, she said. Now the galaxy will live in our shadow. Outside, the fleets of Earth spread farther, black wings against the stars. Every empire watched, powerless, waiting for the storm to break. And in every heart, one thought repeated like the echo of the first message: the humans are here,